Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my first reading vlog of this channel, which is very exciting. I thought I would just do a mood read with me for a week so you guys can get used to what my reading tastes are, kind of how much I read in a week, and just get to know me a bit more as a reader. So I'm currently in the middle of two books. It is a Wednesday, but it's late on a Wednesday, so I might finish this video Thursday next week, depending on how happy I am. If I'm like near the end of a book Wednesday next week, I'll carry it on until I finish that book, kind of vibe. So every book I read in this video will be fully read and reviewed. So I will just keep going until all of them are read and reviewed. But my aim is for a week of mood reading with me. My goal this year is to read 52 books, I believe. It's either 50 or 52. I'm unsure which one I picked in the end. But I read 75 books last year, so it should be achievable. I just went a bit lower this year because some things in life are a bit more busy, and I just wanted to not pressure myself to read as many books. I'm currently behind on that goal. I've currently only read 3 books this year, which is very shameful, which is why I'm doing this video, trying to pick up reading again, because I've been in a bit of a slump. I feel like I was in a bit of a slump a week ago. I've now started 2 new books, which I'm enjoying both of them, so that's definitely helping me. And I just got off of reading a brilliant book, which was My Friends by Frederick Bachman. Gave it 5 stars. It was amazing, couldn't recommend it enough. Anything he does, I'll always recommend. I am going to read Beartown at some point. I've bought the first book in that series, but I'm kind of scared to jump into it, so we are not doing that in this reading vlog. Well, we might, but it's unlikely. So I'm reading a book on my Kindle. It's Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, which at the start of the book, the main character, who's a teenage girl, finds out that her family are monsters and they can take time from people. So they can go back in time or go forward in time by taking time from people. And that means that person, if they go back a year using that person's lifeline, then that person will live a year less. So it cuts their life expectancy down. So they're basically draining the life out of people, kind of like a vampire, if you want to think about it that way, but they don't bite them. And then the love interest we've been introduced to so far turns out to be a monster hunter. So it's an interesting dynamic. She just escaped him. I'm 20% in, she just escaped him. So it's very interesting. Everything's kind of gotten a lot more dramatic. It wasn't a slow start, I would say, but it's definitely gotten a lot more dramatic in the chapter I just read. So 20% in, very excited to see how it goes. So that's the book I want to finish this week. And then the other book I'm reading is I Fell in Love with Hope. I don't want to butcher the author's name. Lankali? I know that's probably so wrong, so I'm so sorry. It's a pen name for Lou Andrea. I don't know how to say her last name, but this is what the book looks like if you want to look it up. And it's about a group of terminally ill patients and their friendship. And I don't fully know the plotline because I don't think you're supposed to know the plotline. Right now it's very much a character study. You're getting to know this group of friends and their diseases that they're living with, their illnesses, and how they got to know each other and the personalities of all of them. And I'm honestly falling in love with all of the friends so fast, and I am 118 pages in. So, and it's around 400 pages, so I'm a quarter of the way through, very much in love with the characters, very much scared because I've had a lot of people say it's very emotional. I think you can tell from the cover it's going to be emotional. So I will keep you updated on these 2 books as I read throughout the week and see if hopefully I'm planning to at least finish these 2. Hopefully I'll get one more done. But as I said, I'm not reading too much nowadays because my life is very busy. But hopefully this video and starting this intro will be motivation for me to actually read. So I will just include clips of me reading and come back with updates later on. So it is currently Sunday. I didn't get an opportunity to read yesterday because I was at work and it wiped me out a little bit, but I got an opportunity to read on both Thursday and Friday, and I got a fair amount through both of the books. I am exactly 50% of the way through both of the books, which is kind of just a crazy coincidence. I didn't intend it. But if we talk about I fell in love with Hope first, I'm really attached to the characters now. I think she's done a great job of like introducing each of them with like their distinct personalities, but also how they interact with each other. You get to tell like kind of the group dynamic really easily, but also along with their personalities, like it's very easy to tell what they fear, kind of like what their hopes and dreams are, and like how they're being held back from that because they all have diseases and they're all in this hospital for a certain reason, and you don't always find out the reason straight away, or you don't find out the full reason or how it fully affects their life. But it's not just centered around their disease, like everything comes back to that because that's what their friendship group is at its core, but it also centers around their dreams, their hopes, and like everything they can't do but wish they could do, and like everything they're trying to do to make their life better, even though they've been dealt these shit cards. But it also focuses on relationships, love, friendship, and also family relationships, which I found really interesting. Because obviously, if you are an ill kid, because they're all teenagers, I believe, and if you're an ill teenager in a hospital, your family's gonna visit, hopefully. So seeing their family dynamics is also so interesting, but it can also be very heartbreaking to see what some of them are going through. Just, I feel like it's gonna rip my heart out. It hasn't yet. The last chapter I read, I'm at chapter 15, so the end of chapter 14, I was kind of like about to cry. I didn't cry, but I was kind of like, shit, like I can definitely see now how this is gonna rip my heart out. It's taken me a bit long to get through this book, but I wouldn't say because it's slow or boring, because it's not. I would just say it's because I'm scared that every time I pick it up, I don't know when it's gonna hit me. Like I am aware that it's probably gonna like hit me and like it's gonna feel like a punch to the gut. I just don't know when. So every time I pick it up, I'm like scared I'm gonna like have a breakdown while reading it, which is why I'm not picking it up as much as I thought I would be, but it's such a good book. I'm just so scared to finish it, and also I don't want it to end. So, but I do reckon I can finish this book within this week. Mood read with me. So hopefully I'll be able to give you guys my final thoughts on it when I finish it in the next couple of days. And then the other book I was reading is Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, sorry. This one has got super interesting. It is a bit confusing, like with the different monsters, the different like families that are powerful in the timeline, and just the timeline as well. They mess with the timeline a lot because as monsters, for one power that all of there's 12 major monster families, and the power that they all share is being able to take time from humans and then use that time to travel back or forwards in time, but they can't impact the timeline. Like whatever they try to do, the timeline will just fix itself. So that's a very interesting concept, trying to see them, because something happened at the start of the book and now they're trying to change the timeline to reverse what happened, and they're trying to fight against the timeline. It's very interesting to see, because it's not really possible, no one's really done it before, but our main character is of the belief that she can do it, and we also know that she's going to get another power at some point within the book because her grandma told her she would, but we haven't seen that power yet and we don't know what that power is yet, so that will be very interesting to see. Also interesting to see the kind of romance storyline that's coming out through it. I quite like the main main lead, main character, So I'm excited to see how that progresses, but it is also quite like a Romeo and Juliet kind of situation. Like, they come from opposing families, their families hate each other, blah blah blah. So it could very much end up with a betrayal. Or I know this is at least a duology. It might be a trilogy, but I know it's at least a duology. So it could very well end on a cliffhanger in both the plotline and the romantic storyline. Depending on how it ends, I could see myself picking up the second book, but I'm not going to say for sure that I will until I know how it ends. But I will carry on reading over the next couple of days, and I'll probably just update you when I finish one of these books, or when I finish both of them. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to finish both of these and then one more book, or like at least start and get like a bit of a way through another book, and then I can just update you in following book videos how that book goes. But we'll just see how much I can read within this week period. I'm happy I've got some reading done and I'm happy and I'm enjoying both the books I'm reading. That's obviously the most important part. Okay guys, so I've now finished both of the books. It is the end of the week and I'm ready to talk about them. Sorry if I keep looking behind me during this clip. My cat is asleep on my bed behind me. You can't see her in this angle. Maybe I'll show you her at the end of this clip. But if you see me looking behind me, that's why, because she is currently washing herself, so she's moving quite a lot, being a bit distracting, but that's okay. Okay, so the first book you saw me finish in the previous clips was Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, and you saw that I gave it 4 stars, which is, my rating system is 5 stars is I can talk about this book for like an hour, I'm going to recommend it to everyone I know, like I will reread it in the future, and I feel like I felt part of my soul in this book, which I know sounds really dramatic, but I feel like other readers get it. Like, my biggest 5 star where I feel like I felt so seen by the book was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross.
So that's just the kind of person I am. Like, if I'm given a book 5 stars, I've probably really deeply connected to it somehow, some character or like some quotes or just the theme of it. Or maybe I haven't and I just like found it like a really fun book. Like, I have given romance books 5 stars before without being like really attached to them. But that's kind of how my 5 stars go. I either had like a really, really fun time with it, or I was so deeply emotionally invested in it. And then 4 stars is a really good book I would recommend to people, but it just didn't have that 5 star feeling. And then 3 stars, like it was still a good book. I just wouldn't like go out of my way to recommend it to people. 2 stars was I didn't enjoy this book, and there was something that really annoyed me about this book. And 1 star is there is something like it's either just not a book in the way it's written, like it's just really bad writing, or I find something like really ethically wrong about it. Like, if the author is talking about like women in a degrading way or something, that would be kind of a 1 star book for me. Like, obviously, I know there's narration and characters in books that will be like sexist, homophobic for like the point of the story. And I wouldn't like get offended by that. But like, if it was the author's actual views and it was very obvious in the book, and I morally disagreed with it, I think that's kind of when I would give it 1 star. But I've never given a 1 star before because I usually take recommendations from people I trust. So, um, yeah, I hope I never have to give a book 1 star, but I just wanted to say my star rating system so everybody knows kind of what I felt about these books. But I gave this book 4 stars. It was a very interesting book. Like, I was intrigued the whole way through. I felt the pacing was really good. It was very fast paced, I would say. So, like, we were always on to like the next adventure, but we also got time to flesh out. But I think maybe the characters weren't fleshed out as much as I wanted them to be. But seeing as it's the first book of a series, I'm not too worried about that. But also, like, I don't want to give any spoilers, but at the end of the book, something happens, and I think it would have been more shocking if we'd fleshed out the relationship between 2 characters more beforehand. Like, we knew these 2 characters had a relationship, like the perspective of the girl, the main character that we were in throughout the book, like she would talk about her relationship with this character, but you know, we didn't actually get to see it that much throughout the book. So I just feel like it wasn't as shocking and we could have been more emotionally invested in it, but it was still a good twist. I would say I didn't see it coming. It was a good twist and it leads into the second book very well. Like, I would be inclined to pick up the second book. I'm not like running to the bookstore to go get it, but if I saw it, I would probably pick it up. So that's always a good sign. I'm actually not sure if this is a duology or a trilogy. Um, I'm not sure, but I definitely think it is good as a series. It will be good as a series, and this is a good starting book to the series. I found it really interesting. I liked the characters. I liked kind of the love triangle that they introduced, because like it's kind of obvious which way like you're going to be rooting by the end of like the series, but I feel like you could root both ways in the first book, which is very interesting. I think the plot was good, I think the characters were good, and I think it leads well into a series. So I'd say very good book, I would recommend, and 4 stars is a very good rating from me. So I'm very happy I picked up this book. Well, I'm very happy I downloaded it on the Kindle. And then the other book you saw me finish and have a bit of a reaction to the ending was I Fell in Love with Hope. um, I gave this one 5 stars and it kind of wrecked me. You guys saw me have a bit of an emotional reaction in the clip of me reading the end, but trust me, that was nothing to the emotional reaction I was having like 100 pages before, because the end wraps up quite nicely. I feel like that's very debatable for me to say. That could be a bit controversial for me to say it wraps up really nicely. I liked how it wrapped up. Other people might be mad at how it wrapped up, but like 100 pages before the end, when like everything's going wrong, obviously I won't spoil anything, but it was really really painful, and like every page I felt like I was just getting like punched in my stomach a bit. This author, um, Lankali. I'm so sorry if I said her name wrong. I did. My bad. Sorry. Um, she writes in such a beautiful way. Like it's almost like poetry on the page. Like you read a sentence and then you like carry on reading and then you go, hold on a minute, and you go back to the sentence and you realise it's just like poetry. Like it's so beautiful, and I feel like every sentence can be like picked out and it has like a deeper meaning and you can read into it so much more. Like these are the kind of books I would expect to study for English literature, like instead of Shakespeare. Like I get Shakespeare, I'm not gonna talk bad about Shakespeare, but I think if we were to go for more modern books, these kind of books where it talks about real human problems. um Obviously I told you this book follows a group of terminally ill children in hospital, so following like real problems, and it's heartbreaking, but it's written so beautifully and it makes you think about life in such a different way. Like one second it makes you feel like hopeful about life and like joyful, and the next second you're like sobbing your eyes out and you like feel so down. And I think it's such a sign of a good book. So sorry about that, someone's revving their car outside. But it's such a sign of a good book when it can get you to go through so many emotions, and for it not to seem like whiplashy, because it didn't feel like I was getting like whiplash from the emotions. It felt like it was paced perfectly. You got to know the characters before she started ripping your heart out with the characters, and I love these characters, and honestly thinking about it makes me want to cry. um I just, I love these characters. Also it was kind of a twist at the end. I can't say anything about the twist because it's a big spoiler, but I know maybe some people would be confused with the twist and be like, that wasn't really necessary, but I loved what she did with our main character. Can't say anything more than that, but what she did with our main character, I think it's so poetic. As someone who just like loves flowery writing and metaphors and all of that, when I read like that part and realized like who the main character actually was, and then I looked at the title again, I was like, oh, like I love when you read a part in a book and then you look at the title and everything just makes sense. It was a beautiful book. I would recommend it to literally anyone. It's so heartbreaking. Made me sob like a little baby. But I love books that make me do that. And then, so those are the two books I read this week, and I also started on audiobook. Oh, The Conditions of Will. I almost forgot the name. The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I can't pull it up because I'm recording on my phone and Audible is on my phone. But I started listening to that whilst I was like on my runs, on my walks. I think I am on chapter 16, I believe, but don't quote me on that. I'm enjoying it so far. I love our main character. I think we don't know her much yet, but I relate to her. So far, I love her. It's obviously such a messy family dynamic. The book is about this girl who's in London, but she moved there when she was like 15 from America, and she doesn't really talk to her family. She had a bad childhood, and then her dad dies and she has to go back to her childhood home for the funeral, and it's just kind of her navigating the relationships of her complicated family and the consequences of how she was treated when she was young, what she did when she was young. I think one way to sum it up without giving spoilers is that her brother, the only brother she still talks to, was kicked out of a house and put into a Navy base camp because he was gay. So that's the kind of family we're dealing with. So her having to go back to that family and deal with all the complicated relationships, and the brother that she still talks to has a drinking problem, and he comes back for the funeral with his sobriety coach. So we're also trying to see the relationship between her brother's sobriety coach and her. That's kind of the love storyline that's going on. I love the male main character. He's amazing. And I think he's perfect for her, and it's just interesting to see if she'll actually let down her walls and let him in at the same time of being in this environment that she hates with people that don't accept her. So it's a very interesting book. If anyone wants me to update when I finish it, I can do it in a future reading vlog, but I'm very much enjoying it so far. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was fun to finally get to read a bit again. I've been so busy recently, but it was amazing to get to read again. And we picked some really good books for this video. I got a 5-star and a 4-star read, which is honestly the best I could ask for. So thank you guys for watching. Stick around for other reading videos. I'll see you around. Bye.